Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Larissa Lucas, and this is Late Nights with Larissa, and today we're here with a special guest to talk about his adoption story. I'd like to give a warm welcome to Brad Frederick. Brad, how old were you when you got adopted?
So I was adopted technically at birth, but my gotcha day, a term used with people that are adopted, was January 16th, so about 6 months after I was born, I was officially adopted. But my parents knew before I was even born that I was going to be adopted and I was going to be a part of their family. So I was adopted about 6 months.
Awesome. Do you celebrate your birthday and your gotcha day?
I just celebrate my birthday. Okay. My gotcha day is I have a tattoo, and that's just kind of like a remembrance of that, that my family did take me and adopted me, but I do only celebrate my birthday.
That's awesome. Where were you adopted from?
So I was adopted from Denton, Texas. That's where I was born. But the family actually had me in Dallas, so it was from Denton, but born in Dallas.
Okay. Did you grow up knowing you were adopted, or was it something you were told as you were a little bit older?
So whenever I was about 3 or 4, my parents gave me books, and they just kind of were like, hey, look, you're adopted. They never waited till I was older or made it some big deal. They just kind of always let me know that it was a part of my life and just kind of God's journey, what he wanted me to do, and they just kind of gave me books on it.
Awesome. Why do you think your parents chose to adopt?
So my mom was having, she couldn't have another baby. They already had my sister, and they couldn't have another baby. And so they were trying to decide if my mom should have a surgery that would give her the opportunity to possibly have a baby, or if they should adopt. They just didn't want the age difference between us to be massive, just the adoption process taking so long. But my mom actually placed babies with homes at the time, so I was kind of just like a lottery pick, and so they decided to adopt.
Cool. Do you know your birth parents?
I do not, and I don't really have any interest meeting them. It was their choice to give me up, and they wanted to help me have a better life, and I appreciate that, but I don't really have any interest meeting them.
Do you think that being adopted kind of changed the way you look on life?
Yeah, it definitely has. It's given me more of a... From a younger age, I didn't really understand my emotions, that it kind of gave me a chip on my shoulder, and that I wasn't the same as everyone else, and I didn't really have any blood family, and so it kind of put a chip on my shoulder that I was kind of by myself. So it kind of has changed the way I've looked at the world, but it definitely use it as motivation, and it's not something that takes away from me.
Awesome. So you would definitely say it changed you for the better? Yeah,
it's definitely changed me for the better.
Are there any hardships that have come with being adopted and knowing that growing up?
Say really the only hardships is, at times before I doubted myself, and it's kind of given me, everyone says they have trust issues nowadays, but it kind of given me at a point in my life, kind of messed with me about who was really there for me. And it was thinking if my parents wouldn't give me up, who else would, or who's really there. But I would say that's really the only thing, is kind of self-doubt, but I don't really deal with that too much anymore.
Cool. Is there anything you want to add?
Not really. I would just say if you are adopted, to own it. Nothing to be ashamed of, and just know who you are.
Awesome. Well, Brad Frederick, thank you for coming on the show tonight. This has been Late Nights with Larissa, and I'm your host, Larissa Lucas. I'll see you tomorrow night.